In this series of videos I'm working on a Siemens Reperforator, and this is the cover of the paper tape punch. So what I want to do in this video is just basically restore this. It's not in too bad a condition, doesn't need repainting, and a bit of an odd arrangement. We've got a metal surround and what is I think a Bakelite top, and then we've got the what should be a clear window on the side. That's two windows. There's one here that's tinted red and this one should be clear. This opening is for the character counter, and then we've got this large thumb screw on top that holds it in position. So what I'm going to do to start with is very carefully remove the plastic window, and I'm going to try and polish this up with some Novus number 2. The top cover it's not black all the way through, it's kind of black plastic, but if you go deep enough it will change colour. So while I will be polishing this, I'll keep the polishing fairly light so as not to completely discolour this. What we can then do is clean up the rest of it. As I say, I'm not going to refinish this, it's not in too bad a condition, it needs repainting. This whole machine's covered in this what looks like brick dust, so I don't know where this has been stored, but I will clean this out. But I want to get the plastic window out of the way first, just to make sure that I don't damage it. I will also raise the two tabs on the coloured window and slide that out. I'll clean this area first just to make sure I don't scratch it. So I'll get this taken apart as far as I'm going to, and we'll have a look and see what condition it's in. Okay, I almost have the cover completely dismantled. It's I've got the two windows out, I've taken the thumb screw out. It's of course metal all round apart from the plastic windows and the soundproofing inside. So I just have the soundproofing to remove now, and it's held in place with these clips. Now if you haven't seen these before, they're a real pain to remove. They're kind of a theme on the one-way clips you often see, and quite often if you're not careful they'll break when you try and take them off. So they used to hold the insulation in, and they push onto some metal pins that are welded to the top part of the cover. The easiest way to get these off, if you haven't seen these, if you just try and wrench it off, you'll probably snap the little fingers off the inside, and of course we want to reuse these. So the easiest way I found of getting these off is put a flat piece of material under one side, and then you have to kind of walk them up using a couple of screwdrivers. So you put one in at each side and then gently rock them. I'm not putting a lot of pressure on this, I'm just going one side at a time, and it will slowly walk up the pin, and it will do that without breaking either the pin off or the little fingers on the inside of the clip. It's a bit fiddly on this particular cover because there's not a lot of space in here, but as I said, the main thing is not to try and pull it off straight, otherwise you'll break either the pin off the case or the fingers off the inside of the clip. So you see that after a while it will pop off the end of the pin, and we haven't broken either the pin's still there, and we haven't broken any of the fingers off the inside of the clip. Okay, I've got two more of those to remove, and then we can finish the disassembly of this top cover. I've removed all the clips, and I've managed to do it without breaking any. I haven't broken any of the pins off the inside of the cover, so that's fairly good. The inside of the cover's in very good condition, there's no real rust, it's just again full of this red dust. So the next thing I'm going to do is polish up the two plastic covers, two plastic windows, and we can clean up the metal case. I'll give the insulation a good wash. This is a kind of a felt material, so you can wash it off. I don't advise soaking it, it will take a very long time to dry, but you can wash the surface of it and it will come up mostly fairly clean. It's often got oil impregnated, and I tend not to wash that out, I'll just wash the surface. Okay, but the first thing is to get these two windows cleaned, and we'll see how well these come up. Does look very badly yellowed, but we'll have to see how well we can clean this. that's all the parts cleaned up. They've come up very nicely, and the clear plastic's come up very nice and clean. Just a bit of polishing, and that's undamaged as far as I can tell. There's a slight crack in one of the corners. Looks like it was done during manufacture. I think they drilled a hole in the wrong place and then had a second go. But other than that, it looks to be in good condition. Same with the red window, that's polished up nicely. I've polished up and cleaned all the fittings, given the mat a good clean, cleaned the case, and again polished up the thumb screw. So I can now reassemble all this, and I'm going to start by screwing in place the two plastic windows. The cover's now fully assembled. The clear window has come up very nice. No real serious scratches. Just took some polishing. The red window, you probably can't see it, but that's come up very nice as well. You'll see that more clearly once we get the light behind it. Inside, all the fittings have been cleaned. I've washed and cleaned the mat, made sure there were no serious tears in it. It's in actually very good condition, and the entire cover is now looking much better, so that's now ready to go back onto the Reperforator. As you can see, it's come up looking very nice. It's the keyboard's come up nice and clean. Wasn't actually too bad, just needed cleaning up. We had to repair the front surround, of course, and completely stripped and rebuilt the encoder, and that was jammed up. Had to free up the paper tape punch, cleaned everything up. It could benefit from having the paper guide, the rule, refinished. It's rusted at the ends, but I'm going to leave that as it is for now. The rest of it is cleaned up very nice, and of course it actually now works. So I've got some paper loaded in, so you can raise this to load the paper. It's got a paper brake here on the reel, stop it running away, and you can then load up your paper and sort of copy and convert from text into punch tape, or go straight from incoming radio messages to punch tape, or whatever else you want to use as a source for the data. So this now works. So as you can see, it's punching tape very nice and cleanly, and that is now fully functional. Someone did suggest putting some rubber feet on this, which would be a good idea if you were going to use it like this, but normally these are bolted to another piece of equipment. That's what these big threaded holes on the sides are for, where what looks like handholds are. There's a large threaded hole on each side, so this is normally bolted directly onto another piece of equipment, and often the paper tape that comes out of this goes into another piece of equipment, a teletype or maybe something similar, to send this data out if you want to, which is why they don't normally have rubber feet on, because you don't want this moving around. But as I said, if you're using it standalone, you could put some rubber feet onto the metal plate. There's a big metal plate that sits on the bottom of this. Didn't show refitting that, but I have cleaned it up. But you could of course put some rubber feet on there. You can see that the character counter is working, and if we press, I'll restart it, we'll press the carriage return, and you'll see that counter go back to 0. In fact, we'll go up until the light comes on. So you can see the end of line light is on, carriage return, the counter goes back to 0, light goes out, and it all does exactly what it's supposed to. It works on both characters and numbers. Everything is working 100%, and it actually looks quite nice. It's, as I say, come up very nice and clean. The front does stand out a bit in terms of it looking a lot newer than the main chassis, but I'm not going to repaint the main chassis. It is original, and I only had to resort to repainting this front surround because it was broken and I had to re-weld it, and so of course that takes the paint off, and it would have looked terrible if I'd left it, so I did have to repaint this. But it does look quite nice, and especially with the polished up keys, it's a very nice looking piece of equipment.